Let's start by listening to this song sung by Rahat Fateh Ali Khan and Abida Parveen. This is in fact a qawwali, and to listen to the whole song, click on the link for the iDictionary feature. This qawwali was written by or composed by Amir Khusro in the 14th century. So who is Amir Khusro? Let's find out. Amir Khusro was a Sufi poet. So he was a Sufi poet who was there in the 14th century, and he is also known as the father of qawwali. And why was he so famous? Because his songs or his verses were both in Persian as well as Hindi language. He affected the Sufi movement. But what is this Sufi movement? Let's see. The Sufi movement started in 1400 CE, and it started in Persia. At that point of time, just as the Bhakti saints had moved away from their traditional and strict beliefs in Hinduism towards devotion and love for God, the Sufis did the same, and they embraced or they showed their love to God. At that point of time, there was a rift in Islam, and so there were two sects in Islam. These were the Shias and the Sunnis. Gradually with time, they became enemies. Now, a lot of people were not happy with this. So when they came in contact with the Hindus, the Buddhists and the Greeks, they incorporated or they merged the good ideas from these religions into Islam. And so this was the Sufi movement. So Sufis also moved away from their strict traditional beliefs of Islam, and they focused on devotion towards God. Other than that, the Shias and the Sunnis who were fighting at that point of time, the Sufis asked them to live peacefully, and as they believed in equality and universal brotherhood. So the main teachings in Sufism were Islamic. However, they included or merged other things or other religious practices belonging to different religions into their religious practices. For example, the religious practice like penance, which was taken from Hinduism. So how did it get the name Sufi movement? You see, the word Sufi comes from the word Suf, meaning wool. But what has wool to do with anything like a movement? Well, you see, the Sufi saints used to wear shaggy and coarse garments which were made out of wool, and that is why this movement got the name Sufi movement. The Sufi saints, just like Buddhist monks, used to live a simple life. They used to live in monasteries which were known as khankas. Now, you must have heard the term peer. Just as in Hinduism, our teachers are known as gurus, the Sufis used to call their religious teachers as peer. And a lot of importance was given by the Sufis to this relationship between a peer and his disciples. So how were peers selected? You see, before the death of a peer, he would select his own successor who would later spread his word and his teachings. So that's how the peers were selected, and this was very important. So how did these peers spread their teachings? Well, you see, the message of devotion was spread by singing songs, discussing religious ideas, and teaching their followers. Now, these Sufis, they organized themselves into 12 orders or 12 communities which were known as silsilas. And they got the name tariqas because each had their own methods or tariqa to work, right? So each order also had their own religious teacher or peer. These included the Chishti, Owaisi, Naqshbandi, and many others. Now, do you recognize this place? If your answer is Ajmer Sharif Dargah, then you are right. So why is this place so important? Well, you see, the Chishti order in India was established by Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti, and so this place is very important as it is the burial place of Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. So it becomes very important, and it is a pilgrimage site for both Hindus and Muslims. Now, let us pay attention to a few of the Sufi teachings. Firstly, these Sufis, they believed in the concept of universal brotherhood. Next, they preached about devotion to God. So to them, devotion to God was very important. Other than that, according to the Sufis, each religion, it had its own way to reach God. Hence, they should be tolerant of all religions. So basically, these Sufis were asking all the religions to be peaceful and accommodate each other. Finally, they preached in the local languages. So why did they do so? they did so because they wanted more and more people to understand their teachings. So they preached in the local languages. So these Sufis, their followers were both Hindus and Muslims, and because of them the Hindus and Muslims came together, and you can even see this in modern day India. So now we have studied both Bhakti movement and the Sufi movements. Let's understand the similarities that were there in these movements. Firstly, in the Bhakti movement, saints were given a lot of importance. In fact, these were considered the people who would guide their followers into the right track of devotion towards God, right? Similarly, in the Sufi movement, similar importance was given to the peers. So these were, both of these movements, they believed that spiritual and religious guidance is needed, and for that they gave importance to both peers and saints. Take a look at this picture here. Here you can see Peer Dastgir. During the 18th century in the Mughal rule, such portraits were made of important religious heads. Whereas in the next picture you can see a man devoted to his God, and that was what Sufi movement was all about. Now let us see some more similarities between the Bhakti movement and the Sufi movement. Firstly, they both preached in the local languages so that more and more people could understand their teachings and accept their movements. Other than that, they both preached their messages through devotional songs and dances. They both rejected complex rituals and customs as a means to seek God. So they both said that such complex rituals and ceremonies were not what were important. In fact, your love towards God is what was important. Other than that, they both believed in equality, and they welcomed people from all backgrounds, irrespective of their profession or caste. That was another one of the kalams written by Amir Khusro, which is being sung in modern day. So we have come to the end of Sufi movement, and we understood how the Sufi movement began here in India, and its teachings of universal brotherhood and equality taught people how to live peacefully amongst each other, and even brought the Muslims and Hindus and the other communities together. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free on DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app and get easy access to more than 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million-plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and get a chance to win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So register for free now.